everybody, I'm Rainbow and welcome to Dimensional Walking. Today I thought I would talk to you about my Sasquatch experiences, and actually I wanted to share with you some drawings that I haven't actually shared with anybody. They're kind of drawings that might make people think, well, maybe she's kind of got a good imagination or whatever, but these are the Sasquatch that I have seen that have shown themselves to me. And I wanted to kind of tell you a little bit of their story and what they've conveyed to me about who they are and why they're here. Now, I know there are people who believe that they were experiments and that the aliens possibly created them and they're here. And I think that there's probably different creatures out there that probably were somehow related to that idea. But I don't think that Sasquatch is that. And that's just from what they've told me. They're portal jumpers. They're from other dimensions. They come here. There's the ones who are actually born here. They're from here. And so they've talked to me a little bit about who they are. I've never said a lot about it because I'm not a Sasquatch expert. They actually have relayed to me they like that they don't think that I'm not one of those people that would kind of go out there and try to make a ton of money writing a book, which you won't make a lot of money writing books anyways, but that I won't try to make money off of the information that they've given me and try to do something nefarious with it, because I don't want to do that. But the thing that I want to get across here is that they are friends. And I'm not saying for everybody that this is the case. And I've stated this before, that for me, I would rather meet a Sasquatch in the forest than I would another human. Humans tend to scare me much more than Sasquatch or other cryptids. I have to have a respect for them. I don't think that... I think awareness is the most important thing, but I don't think that if you don't have ill will towards them, then they're going to understand that and let you alone. If you're afraid of them, they're going to know it. They are smarter than we are, and they have a sense to them that is different to us. While we have lost a lot of those senses of the empathic abilities, the smell, the hearing, the sight, they haven't. They have it all, and they have more. And how they think is very different than how we think. So I thought I'd share with you some of the information they gave me. But what I wanted to do first, I wanted to show you some of the one gift that we've been given by a female Sasquatch here in Oregon named Warja. Now, Warja told me that she would be gifting Michael and I something, and I didn't know what. We had been giving her chocolates and apples since we started our journey with her, and she made communication with me, empathic communication with me. And I told Michael, and then we would always go out and we would give her apples and we would give her nuts and we would give her chocolates, and she really loved these chocolates that we used to get, and it was dark chocolate with nuts, and she would just love them. And so we were always getting those for her. And so she wanted to give us something back. And high up in a tree, we came across this. And this is a wreath that she made us. This is before COVID, so I probably would say it was probably in 2000, 2016. So we've had this, and it's in an honored position on the wall. We just really love it. And she also gave us something else, but we didn't quite understand what it was. I think it was food that they would eat, and well, we didn't eat it, but it was like in a weird sack. And we probably should have taken photographs of it, but we were just so shocked that we got this. We're not the kind of researchers that we always have our cameras like ready. And as a matter of fact, Warja asked specifically for us not to have our phones with us, because that's the one thing that most people want to do, take photographs. And she wanted to impart information to me, so I mean, some people can say it's dumb. Some people can say it's not. I just did what she asked me to do. And Michael wasn't happy about it at first because he wanted the phone with us. But she specifically asked, and in this area that we actually probably, hopefully, this spring and summer will take you to where we actually met Warja. Um, it was not very far off, so it's not some place where we would, if we ever got stuck in the middle of whatever, that we wouldn't be able to have access to people. But anyways, this is hers, and we just really love it, and so we are very grateful to her for thinking of us in that regard. Now, the other Sasquatch that I've met are very interesting. Now, this is a drawing of Warja, and uh, I took a little liberty here. She doesn't have as dark eyeliner as I put in, but this is very, very, very close to how she looks. And this is her. And I know that it may not be easy to see. Eventually, we'll be getting some different editing software where we can actually plug these pictures in so you guys can see them a little bit better. But this is Warja, and she's the one who gifted us the wreath. And this is Mozart. And Mozart is a very unique Sasquatch. He didn't come to me that often, but he wanted me to impart that they have a philosophy and they have a way of looking at life that is very similar to how we do it. We're very similar to them. In fact, we're really related to them. And so he has more of a human look to him, but he's more of the philosopher. But he likes music, and he at one point had heard classical music, and he said that he wanted to be called Mozart. And so this is Mozart. Let's see if I can get it so you can see him a little bit better there. I'm hoping that it's not as blurry, but that's Mozart right there. And Mozart is, I believe that he was, I don't know if he's a portal jumper, but I had the feeling that he's not from here. But anyways, he has this really long hair growing down, like from the chin going down, kind of like a beard. But that's just how their hair is. So anyways, that's him. And I've never shown that before, so I'm a little nervous here. I hope you understand that these are the images that come to me, and these are the beings that I connect with. And this one is Marmaduke. Now, Marmaduke is very special to me because Marmaduke actually showed me where he lives. And I'm going to read from from my diary, some areas that some of the details of how, where they're from, and what it looks like, I should say. So this is Marmaduke. I just call him Duke. And oh gosh, this is really blurry. Let's see. There we go. So that's Marmaduke, and he was the one that actually was. He goes back and forth. He's a dimensional Sasquatch, and so he really loves where he's from, and he doesn't come here as often as some of the other dimensional, I would say, dimensional walkers, but he's definitely going back and forth all the time. This last this last image that I drew, you have probably seen, and this is Loki. And Loki is the Argonian Sasquatch portal jumper that got in contact with me actually while I was in the shower. And Loki imparted to me a lot of information, but I was at a point to where I was having a lot of stuff happening at the time, and the Sasquatch, when they get in contact with you and they have information they want to share with you, and they have things that they want to do with you, don't always have the understanding of the human dynamic, daily life, along with the brain, along with the emotional aspect of who we are. I just couldn't keep up because he would give me information at 2 in the morning. He'd wake me up. And how I would be woken up is I would wake up and then all of a sudden, like a typewriter, there would be words and information in my brain, and I'd get up and I'd start writing it down, and that would be Loki's way of talking to me. And I've talked about this many, many times, but Loki just, he didn't want me to even waste time in waking me up. He just wanted the information in my brain. And that can get a little exhausting after a while. But he's dear to my heart. He actually came into my stepdaughter's house when I was first coming out here to Oregon. Michael and I were thinking of moving here, and he was there in the doorway, and he's about a little over 8 feet tall. He said he's one of the shorter Sasquatch because they can go up to 12 and even higher. But his tribe that's the height of who they are, eight I would say to 8.5 feet. And this is Loki. I'm going to try to put it in a way to where you guys can see it. Let's see. There we go. I think maybe that gives you a good idea of Loki here. And he's just an amazing soul. And I wish you could see the Sasquatch and meet them like I have, because they're not scary, at least not for me, and they impart information to me. And for me, that's, I try to share it as much as I can. And I know there's going to be the official researchers, Sasquatch researchers, who will probably poo-poo this and think I'm crazy. I'm full of it. But that's just the whole part about being empathic. Sometimes you're given this information, and what you all choose to do with it is totally up to you. I just wanted to share those images with you so you kind of know where I'm coming from, and to kind of tell you a little about the information that they've given me. And I might have told you all this in another video, I'm not quite sure, but anyways, I thought I'd share it with you again, just because I think it's the year of Sasquatch. I think we're going to have a lot more Sasquatch sightings. I am imparting to them that I definitely want to meet them and talk with them, and if they have more information for me, to please give it to me. And I have here, April 1st, 2017 is when I met Warja. And it was at Milo MacIver State Park. So I think she's moved on from there. She's not there anymore, but I do know that we love whenever we can get in contact with the Sasquatch. And so, one thing that Warja did tell me that was really interesting is that they have summer and winter locations that they go to, and that makes sense because you're not going to stay somewhere where there's a ton of snow. So they travel a lot. So just like many years ago with the Native Americans, and just with anybody who didn't have a home, or who were actually more transient, they travel all over. So I have not actually talked with Warja in a couple of years, but she's very dear to me, and hopefully I can get back in contact with her. And she actually showed me another location of where she's at, and so I'm hoping to maybe Michael and I can go there and maybe take you guys in a video, because we're trying to start to go out and do stuff like that for you guys. So here is something that I had written. Michael found it, and he thought that I should probably share this with you guys, and I'm just going to read it because I could try to explain this, but it makes more sense just to read it. And I said, sometimes I get glimpses of places that come in the dead of night and seemingly whiz by me, like puzzle pieces that make no sense. These pieces, until the moment they reveal themselves to me, are a non-existent picture of a past. Whose past, I can't really say. Because of this, I get left with more questions than answers, and my world is literally turned upside down. I feel that I'm looking down instead of up, and my peripheral vision is a visor, like a kaleidoscope full of never-before-seen colors and images. They flicker away when I turn to look at them. It's exhausting to see the otherworldly images, especially from my disadvantaged upside-down view. And so the one thing that, as an empath, that happens when I do dimensional walking is I will get images of places and locations, and if something is in contact with me, they will try to show me where they're from. And because of this, it gets exhausting, and then I have to get up and go to work and do my daily chores or whatever. So it's not always easy when entities and beings get in contact with you, because you have to live your daily life, and then you have to get to a point to where you can also relay their information as best you can. So, you know, for a lot of empaths out there, it's not easy to do what we do, but we try. On such an evening not so long ago, I was shown a place so unusual that I can barely find the words to describe it. My sleep up to that point was a normal, non-eventful respite, and then out of nowhere, within an instant, an elusive and mystifying world unfolded before me. The next morning I was exhausted, and then I just stated and overwhelmed, because it can actually do that. You can just get so overwhelmed with what's going on that when you wake up, you're trying to figure out, was that reality? Was that something I really saw? Or is this something that I imagined? Is it? But when I see things, when I'm shown things, I see them just as if I'm looking at, you know, things here right now in this reality. So I know that I'm there. And I have brought smells back. Actually, in the room, I brought the ocean seaweed smell in a room where my ex-husband, he came into the room, he could smell it. And it was an Atlantean memory that I had, and I woke up, and I had brought that memory actually into the room, and there was seaweed, the smell of seaweed for 10 to 15 minutes, and it just didn't go away. And it's that ocean smell that you just don't forget. And we were in the middle of the desert when I did that. So anyways, when you're empathic, you can kind of do stuff like that. So the one thing that became clear to me was, you know, all those questions. Was I really there? Did I really see what I think I saw? Why now? And the question for me is always, well, why are you showing me this now? I have here one thing for sure. The next morning I knew that gold was the key. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about, because you know how I've been doing these videos on gold, monatomic gold, and talking about how the Egyptians feel about gold, and then how when they would create the mummies, how gold was important to them, because it's something that is not just a symbol of their royalty, it's actually something that they ingest. So there's a connection between Sasquatch, gold, and the Egyptians. It has a lot to do with why there's, I think, other alien groups and beings here who are specifically here for gold, and that tie-in with ancient aliens, Sasquatch, and gold. So before I go any further, I'm going to cut this video, and I'll make this a part 2, and then I'll get into what the Sasquatch told me about the connection between aliens, them, and gold. So I hope you like this, and let's get back into this in part 2 of the Sasquatch and the Egyptian connection. The key is gold. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.